Welcome to the Dance It, Change It podcast. Join your host, Jaycie Cormac-Neyland, and her guests every weekday as they talk about creating the next generation of free-thinking, confident, and innovative leaders. As a former dance studio owner and a lifelong dancer, Jaycie is passionate about empowering youth to create positive change in themselves, their communities, and beyond through dance and movement. The Dance It, Change It podcast is filled with inspiration, tips, stories, and plenty of laughs along the way. Get ready because you can create change just by dancing, and you're about to find out how. Here's your host, Jaycie Cormac-Neyland.
Hey everybody, Jaycie here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're listening. You guys, you know, I say this every time. I'm always excited. I'm just always bubbling over with excitement. But I have a professional dancer with us today, and so many little girls and little boys dream of being able to become a dancer and actually get to dance professionally and be in music videos, be on stage, be with big names. And so I'm so excited to be able to bring you one of those young ladies today. So I have with me Kristen Schalk. She is a 25-year-old professional dancer, choreographer, aspiring singer, songwriter, and actress living in Los Angeles, California. Now, she's originally completely from the other side of the country, from Charlotte, North Carolina. And she began dancing at the age of 7 years old. Teeny tiny little girl. One of the main studios that she danced and taught at was Fusion Force Entertainment Academy, where she trained and had some of her first professional gigs from industry working choreographers like Chuck Maldonado and Sean Bankhead. Recently, she's had the opportunity to choreograph for multiple artists, whether it's been for their music videos or live stage performances. And along with dancing, she has a passion for singing and songwriting. And she's trained under industry working singers such as Michael McClooney and Ken Stacy. And acting, of course, is also a passion of hers. And she would love to one day use all of her talents to be in a movie or television show. So I'm excited because she is here and she is with us and she's living the dream that so many of you have. But yet at the same time, she still has even more dreams because she would love to release her own music and go on tour and choreograph and dance to her own songs. So it's just so much excitement, and I'm so excited to bring her to you. Welcome, Kristen.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Well, I am obviously excited to have you with us today. So one of the first things that I really love to ask is, why did you start dancing? What drew you to that, and how did that happen for you?
I think I just had a natural, like, God-given ability. And when I was young, one of my friends was, her mom put her in dance lessons when she was about the same age, 7 years old. And she went to a dance studio called Miss Donna's School of Dance. And her mom, they really recommended it to my mom to put me in lessons. And I feel like at that young of an age, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. But, once I started, I just had, like, it just came naturally to me. I just ended up loving it. And the teachers, they also saw that, that I had just had a natural gift for it. So they really told my mom that, I should continue and then move to the main studio to do competitive dance. And so it all kind of stemmed from there. And whenever, as I grew a bit older in my preteen years, that's when I really was like, wow, like I love being on stage. Like I love performing in front of people. I just got this like adrenaline rush every time I would be, on stage. And
there's nothing like it, is there?
There's nothing like it.
Nothing. No one can understand unless they have a passion like that. And to get on stage and to perform, there's just no, or even being in the studio when you love it that much, there's just no comparison.
Yes, exactly. And just, yeah, it's like, and it was also, I don't know, even, yeah, you're right. Just getting in the studio and taking classes, and it's something you can like, dedicate yourself to. And it's like a good challenge for yourself too, to always want to continue to get better. And it takes discipline and, yeah.
Do you think that being a competitive dancer helped prepare you to step into the professional world?
Yeah, definitely. I think so because you learn stage presence, which is like huge at a young age. Like you're learning how to perform for this giant audience, and which, you know, I've had to do on stage now. Um, and you're also, you know, someone's filming you at the same time when you're doing competitive dance. You know,
Right.
you get to look back at your tapes and really like, you know, that's when you critique yourself. So even now, like I'm performing in front of cameras all the time with music videos. And so it really helped build that confidence, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so what is it like? Well, wait, I'm skipping a step if I don't ask this first. How did you end up in LA and get that first? Because I know you actually had some gigs
Yeah.
before you moved
Right.
there, though, right? Because you had that when you were younger. So tell us a little bit about that, how you kind of ended up where you are now.
Yes. So um, I started going to a entertainment studio called Fusion Force Entertainment Academy, and it was geared like like towards helping, you know, kids get into the industry and really like meet industry working choreographers. They would bring in his name. The owner is Tom Hill, and I first met him before he even started his, you know, before he even had the big studio he has today. He
Mm-hmm.
was just starting out, and this was just his dream. And so he helped really get me into hip hop dance and helped grow my love of hip hop that I have today. And so I started taking lessons with him. And then he grew and grew and grew his studio, and he would bring in choreographers from Atlanta and LA that were working in the industry and he would bring them in to teach us. And so we got to really learn from those people. And one of the guys that he brought in was actually Chuck Maldonado, and he's literally choreographed for Step Up, Stomp the Yard. He's
Mm-hmm.
choreographed multiple commercials, and yeah, so he's a huge choreographer in LA. And he was also at the time choreographing in Charlotte, where I was living. He was choreographing for a boy band called TGB. It stands for the Gore Boys.
Mm-hmm.
And there were three brothers, a little singing group, and Chuck was choreographing for them. And they came to our studio looking for dancers. And so I was, you know, happened to be there, and I got to audition for them with Chuck. And not knowing that Chuck was like this big choreographer, I was only like 15 or 16. So I really had
Wow.
no idea like
Mm-hmm.
what I was getting myself into at the time. But once I like, you know, I made the audition, and then I got to start dancing with the boy band, and Chuck was our choreographer for the, you know, the entire like 4 or 5 years that I danced with them.
Mm-hmm.
And it
That's
was
awesome.
awesome. Yeah, it was amazing, an amazing opportunity, because just at that young age, I was really being trained like as a professional. You know, they treated us as if we were in the industry, even though we were younger.
Oh, that's
Um,
really, really cool. So what is it like to be in the industry? What is it like to be a professional dancer out in LA?
it's crazy. I mean, you have your ups and downs all the time, but like you take classes to continue to train, and I always say, just, you never know who could be your next like person that could get you a job. So you really just want to put your best foot forward all the time, and like just always be nice to people, and you never know like what connections you're going to make. So it's really
Mm-hmm.
helpful to just always network with people. And um, yeah, so take classes and network and continue to meet those people who will really help you get in the right rooms and um, in the right jobs and stuff. So
Excellent.
yeah.
Yeah. Because that is a big question for those that want to try to make it, because it's not an easy industry
No,
to
it's
get into.
not. Yeah. And I've really found, because I'm actually not even I'm not even signed to an agency. So for me, networking has really been my biggest, thing that's helped me.
Well, girl, I will tell you from the moment, because we actually just officially met a few moments ago, and we looked at each other on camera instead of just doing the audio for this interview, and I could feel and see this beautiful energy about you. So it is, you really do have that. And so I think that's and I know I'm not doing a video show for people, but they need to see your energy, because it comes out, and when you put that out into the world, other people will be much more apt to want to work with you. So
yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. We don't often hear those things, right? But it's true. And so when we put that out there, it's just really important. So tell me, what has been probably your favorite job that you've had the opportunity to do?
Ooh, I've had so many just awesome moments and jobs where I'm, I have those times where I'm like, I can't believe this is really happening. And I think I'll tell you one. So when I first moved to LA, it was in 2017. Yeah. So my first job was with this. It was actually through like I said, it was through one of my friends. Well, we weren't even friends yet. Okay. So I went to an audition that me and my friend, we heard about it on Instagram. We saw someone post about it, that this guy named Devon was having an audition. And so we were all excited. We were like, oh, we got to go to it. And he was auditioning dancers for a music video that he was choreographing for an artist called, she's a Latin artist, and her name's Snow the Product. Mm-hmm. And then it was also featuring a big rapper that I've heard of and a lot of my friends know. His name is Drom. And so we were really excited. We were like, oh, we got to go to this audition. So we went, and me and my friend Katie, we both went, and we both made it. We got it. Awesome. We got the call back. And it was such a fun audition. It was just fun choreography. And it was honestly a great first real audition that I had ever been to. And I just loved the energy in the room was great. And the choreographer, his name is Devon Gray. And he's one of my best friends. We became best friends after that day. And so we made the audition and we got the job, and it ended up being at this he got the job through a director who he's friends with. And the director, his name is Damien Sandoval. Damien's awesome too. He's an incredible director, and he's ever since that moment, a lot of jobs that he's gotten, he's reached out to Devon to bring in dancers for the music videos. And ever since that day, Devon always, reaches out to me, and just because we made that connection. So that was a great first music video to be a part of, because just even the set was awesome. It was in this big mansion, in the hills, and it was just fun. They had a giraffe on set. It was crazy. Really? Yes, literally. And they had, it was just a party, the whole time. And the choreography was really fun. And we had wore these awesome outfits, and, got our hair and makeup done and everything. So it was I was like, wow, this is awesome.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah. So I feel my first music video was just it was everything I ever dreamed of, really. And
so that's the exciting, amazing part. It's the dream, which you're getting to do, and you've experienced it. But we all know there have to be challenging moments and times that things just aren't working, or jobs aren't good for some reason. Can you share maybe that, so just people get the reality of it, and kind of the opposite end, something?
Totally. So yeah, so that was the beautiful side of it, as the glamorous glitz side of it. And then you're really gonna run into a lot of jobs that I learned this the hard way, even just this past year. I took a job for another music video, and so did a lot of friends of mine. And it was for the DaBaby music video. If you look it up, it's called Bop on Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
And it was this huge music video. Like it's huge. We shot it at like Paramount Studios. And anyways, it was like, I loved being a part of it. I loved who I got to work with. So it was crazy because it was like, oh my gosh, is this really happening? I'm working with DaBaby. I'm working with Danny Lay. She's an A-list artist. She came in and choreographed it with another big choreographer named Cherry. And I was just like, is this really happening? These people I see all the time online, and I'm just like, this is crazy. But, at the same time, you have to realize, like, me and so many other dancers, we realize now we have to know like our worth at the end of the day. And like, and so it was a great job, but at the end of the day, we didn't get paid the right amount that we should have. And so that was something that we all went through. And the good part that ended up happening was that so many people, we spoke out about it, that we were like, unfairly paid, that we ended up getting, like, months later, they ended up sending us the right amount. Like, they finally.
That's good.
Yeah.
But as dancers, it's not, you do it because you love it.
Exactly.
It's not a huge, substantial income I would say the vast majority of the time. And I don't need numbers. I'm not trying to get into private information. It's no one's business. But I just don't want people to think, oh, I can go do this and make gazillions of dollars, because it's a lot of hard work.
Exactly.
And I didn't go and dance professionally, right? I grew up in a small town, and I started teaching pretty quickly, and opened my own school pretty quickly. But it's definitely that's a challenge as well. And the other challenge that I've noticed that you had commented on to me was about your confidence in choreographing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard that from some others. And I think that's an interesting component that I'd like to talk about, because as dancers, we are very trained to do what we're told.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And so to be able to be the one that now has the freedom to create it can be perhaps intimidating, or is it going to be liked by someone else? So how do you feel about that? How does that affect you?
Yes. Just like you said, we're always, it's like, we're always trained in a certain way, and, do as you're told. It's almost like a lot of choreographers, they want you to, not all of choreographers, but a lot of choreographers want you to try to look, exactly like them if you can. And one of the things that, like, one of my mentors has taught me, he goes by Mosey. I took a really great intensive course with him, and he taught me that, like, you can't, like, a lot of dancers, when we get out to LA, we're like, oh my gosh, we have to train. We have to take like 6 classes a week in order to be like the best dancer. Mm-hmm. And he really taught us that, like, that's not always the case. Mm-hmm. You actually shouldn't take that many classes, because at the end of the day, you want to maintain your individuality as a dancer. And so even if you have like some days where you just spend like freestyling, and making sure you always keep like your own style, because sometimes we get so caught up in wanting to look like other dancers or other choreographers that we like lose like the confidence in ourselves sometimes. Mm-hmm. To maintain our own,
Right. I love that. That is wonderful advice. Technique is highly important. I think we hopefully all know that, and staying on top of things and continuing to train, but don't lose who you are. I think that's very, very, very powerful.
Yes.
Because when you're unique, you're going to stand out from the rest of them, right? You're not just going to be always the it just depends on where you're dancing when I say it, but you're not going to be in the background. You're going to get to be that lead dancer at certain points when you can stand out.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So how are you using social media, because things are certainly different, even though like I said, I was teaching in my early 20s with my own school, but even that is vastly different because social media wasn't around then. I'm almost 50. So what is that like, and how are you using that to your advantage now?
Right. So yeah, social media, it's always like a blessing and a curse now, but it really, if you can use it, like you want to use it, try to use it to your advantage, because I have, just from posting dance videos and trying to put out new content and dance videos, singing videos, just by posting those, I've gotten like more people to reach out to me through social media than sometimes in person, because people will kind of like, it's like they see you more on social media. If you're continuing to post, that you're on their radar more. And so it's not like they're going to see you every day in person to remember, oh yeah, Kristen, like a lot of people will be like, oh my gosh, I forgot, she dances like that. She's like an incredible hip hop dancer. Like she's an incredible singer. Like I totally forgot. And I feel like the more people see it, the more they're like, oh my gosh, like, so yeah. I've gotten jobs just through posting like videos, and people then DMing me and be like, hey, do you want to be a part of my project or this next music video? Or
awesome.
So I think if you can really use it in that way, then it can really benefit you. And yeah, it's hard because even for me, I don't always have stuff to post, or like I feel like I don't, but sometimes you just can't overthink it. And
right. Yes, exactly. And you can repurpose.
Yes.
You don't always have to have new content. You can take a snippet of something. Here I am, I'm going into business coach mode almost on you, but you can, reuse those pieces in different ways. And that way you're still getting to put it out there, because the more people see you, the more they get to feel like they know you.
Yes.
Especially when they see video. It only takes about a combined total of 5 hours of video, and they feel like they know you and they like you already. I mean, or they don't, whichever. But
yeah.
So
seriously, it's so good.
It gives them just that edge you already know. So what advice would you give to somebody who is just on the cusp? They're really on the edge of getting started in the entertainment industry.
I would suggest definitely networking, like I said, is huge. And also I'd say don't put yourself in a box ever. So don't let like other people's opinions affect you. And if you don't feel like, you want to stay in one lane, like try multiple lanes of, different styles. Just because you might not be strong in one area doesn't mean you shouldn't still, do that. If it's contemporary you're not as strong at, like, but you love it still, then just continue to do it. And because you never know like what kind of jobs will come up where, you'll need to know that style of dance still. And so I think it's good to train in all styles so you can be versatile. And also just as far as like the business side of it, like we were saying with, jobs, you're not going to pay all your bills with just doing like music videos and stuff. So I think if you can, what I've learned this year is I'm starting my own business, and like with, offering lessons, choreography to people. Yeah. And so that's something that I kind of struggled with my confidence at first, because I didn't move out to LA to be a choreographer per se. And so it was kind of scary when when people started asking me this year to choreograph for them. And I was like, I don't know, like this is, I didn't feel like it was in my lane. I felt like I was like, I don't know if I can do this. But like I said, don't put yourself in a box ever. And, if you think about it, we've trained for this our entire lives.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
There's no way that we couldn't be good at, you know, choreographing. Like we have so many moves in our repertoire, like there's just absolutely no way that we couldn't do it. And so I feel like if you just have that confidence in yourself.
And I think too, what comes to mind for me there as dancers, as performers, the show must go on. So no matter what happens, sometimes we need to adjust, whether the space that we're in is too small, whether there's people close, maybe we have a costume malfunction, we have something happens, lights go out, who knows, but we don't stop. So we have to make instantaneous adjustments, or maybe someone gets injured and we have to take their place, and maybe it wasn't I was the understudy. We just got to fill in. We have to make changes within the whole group or whatever the case may be. So when we look at that and we go, oh wow, we're much more capable sometimes than we give ourselves credit for.
Yes, we are. We have to believe in ourselves more. I know I do. So that's so true.
So Kristen, where do you see yourself? You know, I remember I was your age and I had my first kiddo. So I'm like, oh my gosh, because he's your age almost. So where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
In the next 10 years, I really hope that my business of like, you know, choreographing for artists or whoever, I hope that kind of takes off because I'm working on that right now. And which anyone can check out. It's on my website, KristenSchalk.com, and I offer lessons virtually or in person, and I hope that kind of just continues to build. And then also with my my dancing, I would love to be on tour with an artist one day. I've always said that I would love to, go on tour, whether it's with Justin Bieber or, whoever. I think that's always been a dream of mine. But, and then also with singing, I would love to put out my own music. I see myself having my own music out and going on my own tour and, choreographing that and having my friends dance for me. And so
that'd be cool.
I really can't wait to see how it all comes together.
Right. So you guys listening, you can go to, and I'll have the link in the show notes, but it's KristenSchalk.com. And of course you can see, not only you can learn about her classes, but you can watch some of her featured videos on there. There's some really cool stuff on there. So make sure you check that out. And in no way do I want to wrap up this conversation. I love talking with you, but I know that we're pretty much at that point. So do you have anything that really stands out in your head, that one final thing that you would like to share with young girls? And I say girls, not to leave the guys out, but hey, you and I are women. We understand women better than we understand men. So what would you say to those young girls differently, obviously, than what we've already said? Something maybe that if you could go back to that age yourself and tell yourself, what would you say?
I would say stop overthinking it. Don't overthink things, especially when even if you're just in a class and you feel like, oh my gosh, everyone's looking at me, or like, I have to get the moves perfect. Because I was always like a perfectionist, and now I realize that was just doing more harm than good. And so if you really just be yourself in class and know that it's literally just class, like at the end of the day, no one really cares. And if you take everything as like an opportunity to learn and grow, then it's better. Don't just take things as, oh my gosh, I have to get this person to notice me, or I have to like make this audition. Like, just do it for yourself at the end of the day. Don't do it to please anybody else.
I love that. Excellent. Excellent advice. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Kristen. Thank you for sharing what it's like, how you got there, and what it is like, something that so many people want to hear for themselves. So many girls, and like I said, the boys too, they want to know, well, what's it even going to be like? Because they may not have those connections at all. So there's lots of ways, lots of different pieces of advice and insight that Kristen shared today. Kristen, thank you again for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed this so much.
Excellent. Yay. I love it. I've enjoyed talking with you as well. All right, everybody. I am Jaycie, and I will catch you next time.
Did you enjoy this podcast? If so, you can learn more about Dance It, Change It, and Jaycie on the website danceitchangeit.com. And make sure to tell family and friends. Thanks for listening. We look forward to you joining us again. In the meantime, don't stop dancing.